This weather forecast is brought to you by Holman Automotive. Looking for a new car for the spring or need your car serviced or washed after all the snow we've had this winter? Give Holman Automotive in Mount Laurel Township a call. 856-663-5200.
All right, good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday to you. You are seeing me on a rare Saturday morning. That's because we've got a storm incoming, and wanted to grab the horse by the reins here. Also didn't want Bobby Clark out here driving in the middle of it when it does get here. So he'll be back this afternoon to wrap up the coverage of this storm, and he'll be over the snowfall totals when we get them. He'll be over how much wind we've seen and where we go through tonight and tomorrow. But I am here on the morning shift to walk you through what we can expect for the first part of the day. And I wish you all a very good morning. Jan and Christina and Jody and Karen, Medalia, Patrick and Christy and Marge. Kim, thanks for joining me. I know it's early on a Saturday morning. Rochelle, good morning. Diana, Kim, Mary. I do have my snow tie bow tie on. And normally, you know, as the tradition goes, I break it out when we talk about, you know, major snowstorms. But to be fair, I just wanted to wear it one more time, and I don't think there's going to be another opportunity this season. So I wanted to kind of don it for one more time before next December. Well, I guess this December already, since we're in 2022. All right, so what we're going to be talking about over the next several minutes is the fact that we have rain moving in. We have areas of heavy rain that are going to be getting here. It's warm right now. I know you're probably thinking, well, how the heck is it going to snow if temperatures are in the upper 40s right now? It's going to snow. Mark my word, it's going to snow. Sometime late morning or early afternoon, we'll see that transition for everybody. And I think snow even gets down to the coast. It's the accumulations that leave a lot to be desired if you're a snow lover, of course. I've had reservations with this system from the onset, and I think I've expressed that many times. I still have reservations about this system. I've seen it play out many times. The greatest piece of advice I've ever heard was, if you're not willing to be the only one wrong, you're not willing to be right. I've seen the forecast. I've seen what the models have done. Since yesterday, all the models have backed off to a lighter event, kind of going in line with my thinking. So that is encouraging waking up to, because I went to bed last night at 10 o'clock with my heels dug in. I am going with this idea that it's not going to be a major thing. When some of the models were still going 3, 4, 5 inches of snow for our area. I just don't believe that's going to happen, and we will talk about that and why. There's justification. You know, there's the why behind the what, and I think education is a huge part of the meteorological process here. Just got a lightning alert in Mizpah. Yeah, we could have some thunder boomers with this. There's some convective activity, but no severe weather, so that's good. The winds are certainly going to be picking up, and then after the precipitation is gone, late afternoon and early evening, we are going to be looking at a very, very dangerous situation on the roads that were left untreated, because a flash freeze is going to happen, where we go from the 40s right now into the teens, I think, by tomorrow morning, and wind chills will be in the lower teens. So it is a very dynamic situation that we have going on here. As soon as those temperatures drop, the storm is going to get started, and we're going to see everything kind of go downhill. So yes, Christy, the answer to your question is a random thunderstorm is certainly possible. What's going on here is the area of low pressure is rapidly intensifying offshore. Well, it's not offshore yet, but it's down to our south. And as that happens, you're going to get areas of heavy snow to the west. You're going to get areas of heavy rain. And the heavier that rain is, the more the temperatures are ultimately going to cool down. We have a 16-year-old birthday party scheduled in Atlantic City, Sugar Factory, on the fence. Well, it depends on what time that birthday party is. If it's mid and late afternoon, you should be okay. Just take the expressway into the city. You don't want to take the back road. Well, I mean, the Pikes should be fine as well. But if it's between, say, 11 and 3 o'clock, that window, you might want to rethink it. But in Atlantic City, I'm not expecting, I mean, any accumulating snow. If they pick up a dusting to 1/4 of an inch, that's a lot. Coming home, again, you're going to want to take those major roads as much as possible because they are brined and salted and all that kind of stuff to prevent a rapid freeze. But everywhere else, there will be issues out there. So I see we have strong rain in Ventnor. Thank you, Richard Santoro. Appreciate your input there. Taisha says, snow tie, bow tie. Yes. Sandy, it's raining in Millville. Yes, it is. And we are going to go over that. We're going to go over radar in just a minute. But I guess first we'll carry on the tradition of the weekday broadcast here and look at our national holidays. It is Alfred Hitchcock Day. It is Aztec New Year. It's International Fanny Pack Day. It's National Baked Scallops Day, National Girl Scout Day, National Plant a Flower Day. All that stuff is very important, especially planting flowers and trees. And that gets you in the spring mood, right? I know I'm in the spring mode. We have all of our backyard stuff done. Plants, trees, everything in there. All right, let's take a look at our camera. If it decides to load, that would be an amazing thing to happen right now, but it doesn't look like it's loading. I wanted to take a look outside where we have cloudy skies and some areas of rain coming in, but it looks like it's not working. Hello, knock, knock. This computer over here, wake up. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't like to talk, but temperature right now, 47 degrees with a dew point right on with that 47. And precipitation, we've had 0.02 of an inch, so very light out there for the most part to kick off the morning. Oh, there we go. Cloudy skies, a dull start to your day. East winds at 6, and those winds are really going to be picking up later on as we have a wind advisory that impacts the entire area. Quite the dynamic situation where you go from 49 in Philadelphia to 22 in Cleveland, 11 in Chicago, and this is the air mass that is going to be filtering in through the day. Again, I can't stress this enough. You are going to see the temperatures rapidly fall through the day. I guess you're going to feel the temperatures fall rapidly through the day. So you might not need a heavy coat out the door right now, but later on you certainly will. Philadelphia coming in at 49, 47 in Atlantic City, 52 in Richmond. But just on the other side of the front, western Pennsylvania already in the 20s. And that is why the stickage from the snow is going to be a real threat through central Pennsylvania and then eventually the Philly burbs. But it's really western Chester County, western Montgomery, Bucks, Berks, those areas that are going to see 3 to 6 inches of snow, I'm thinking, out of this. Everybody to the southeast, it's going to be a lighter event. Elevation has a lot to do with this, and the ground temperatures as well, though the ground temperatures where the heavier snow is going to be falling will be able to become overcome with the heavy precipitation coming through. It's dynamic cooling. 46 right now in Bensalem and Pemberton, 47 in Chemung, 48 in Glassboro, 48 in Philadelphia, 44 in Norristown, 44 in Westchester, 48 in Glassboro. I think we already said that, but we have these pockets of rain coming in. We go down into Cumberland County. I know we just had a report of rain in Millville. That makes sense. Vineland as well, 49 degrees. Dennisville at 49, 46 in Ocean City. Atlantic City, as this cell moves to the north over Absecon Island, you're going to be dealing with some heavy rain there as well. So right now, it's just scattered about the area. We've got these pockets of heavy rain. Most of Cape May County at this hour is dry, 49 in the courthouse, 50 our warm spot in the villas. And this is because the winds are coming in off of the ocean for this area out of the south and east. So that's a warm direction. We are anticipating the temperatures to drop as the low passes and we squeeze the winds out of the northwest. So late this morning and afternoon is really when the winds are going to be picking up out of the northwest and not off of the ocean. And that is why we are not concerned about any tidal concerns. This is not going to be a tidal flooding event for you. 44 in Asbury Park and Barnegat, 46 in Manchester right now. And we are watching the progression of this. Look at all this heavy rain. Washington. I mean, look at that rain snow line that is now crashing from Frederick to just outside of Washington within the past hour. So the cold air is definitely gaining some territory down to our south. For us, it's going to take a while for those colder temperatures to get here. I don't think we're below freezing until sometime around the lunch hour. And that is going to come in coordination with that rain-snow line punching down into South Jersey. So very heavy rain now, the eastern shore of Maryland coming over the Chesapeake, and this is going to be getting into South Jersey. I'm thinking we probably pick up 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches of rain before all is said and done with. Right now, your heavy snow is Williamsport, just west of Elmira, east of Pittsburgh right now, and this is where we have the winter storm warning in effect. Now, if the cold air were able to rush in quicker than modeled, which I don't think is going to happen because of the positioning of the low, but if that low is 50 miles to the east, we'd be looking at blizzard conditions. And there could very well be blizzard conditions west of Philadelphia today. That doesn't mean you're going to get 30 inches of snow. That's not what a blizzard is. It's 3 hours of wind sustained or gusting consistently over 35 miles an hour, and I think that is possible. So you don't want to be out on the roads traveling this afternoon, especially if you're in eastern and southeast Pennsylvania. This is a large system. So our low is developing here. It's going to be moving to the east-northeast. Look at that heavy snow over central Pennsylvania, then look at the heavy rain ahead of it. It's unfortunate because if this was January, I mean, we'd be pumped up for 6 to 10 inches of snow in South Jersey. That's just not going to be the case. We'll zoom into where that rain-snow line is currently, and you see that line crashing to the south and east. Harrisburg right now is all snow. That transition has occurred. Look at Hagerstown. Just to the east of Hagerstown, an hour ago, it was all rain. Now that is being chipped at. But here's the deal, and this is going to be the case for us here in South Jersey as well. When that transition happens, the snow is going to be piling up first on grass and cold surfaces, cars and carports and porches and all those areas. Since we had cloudy skies overnight, radiational cooling wasn't able to take effect, so the ground is still retaining a lot of that energy. It's going to take very heavy snow, which I think happens as a result of something called frontogenesis in southeast Pennsylvania. So if you're in western Chester County, if you're in western Montgomery County, Berks County and whatnot, points west, you will have snow in the streets. And I think it's possible towards Philadelphia in South Jersey, we get some minor snow in the streets as well. Not at the onset. It might take a couple hours to actually get there. So rain arrives. We're starting to watch that now. It's coming in from southwest and it's going to be moving to the northeast. And then we flip to heavy snow. Again, this happens in southeast Pennsylvania first, and then later on in the morning or early afternoon, that'll be getting into South Jersey. Now, one of my viewers was kind of confused with my description of a headline I put out there yesterday. Heavy snow, but minor accumulations. You can have both, okay? I think at most, some areas of South Jersey might see a couple inches. Maybe worst case scenario up to 3 inches. I'm staying well below that, my personal feeling, even though my forecast is for a trace to a couple inches. I'm leaning on the lower end. And I have justification for that. And when we sit down, I'm going to show you the change in the model guidance over the past 6 hours. It's really eye-popping. So you always get these changes within 24 hours. It's wiggle room. And really, it's a difference of 10 or 15 miles. It's not huge. So that's where the uncertainties come into play. But as long as you are prepared for the potential, I think that's, an indication that we did our jobs, no matter what the outcome is. So some accumulation for South Jersey. It's just not going to be a whole lot. Right now in purple, we have winter weather advisories posted. And I told you yesterday morning this would likely be the case. The warnings are west of Philadelphia, Lancaster County, Reading, Allentown, western Chester County. So that is where we are expecting your higher end accumulations of 4 or more inches. So in the purple area, there is a great level of uncertainty. I would wager that on the other side of the river is where you'll see perhaps 2 or 3 inches of snow if we can actually get that to happen, and lighter down through South Jersey. But we just wanted to, get the word out there, or not we, but the National Weather Service, to give you a heads up that, yeah, look, some accumulating snow is possible. It's going to be blown around by the heavy winds coming our way. And notice the coast isn't under anything, okay, because it's going to be mainly rain. You too will likely shift over to snow, but it's probably not going to accumulate much. There's actually a blizzard warning Down here in Virginia, in the higher elevated neighborhoods where the mountains are, that's going to be something. They'll probably pick up a foot of snow, really, with the winds gusting over 50 miles an hour, snow coming down at 2 inches an hour. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Look at the heavy snow that's going to be coming through central Pennsylvania. That is where we have the winter storm warnings in effect all the way up into central New York. But there is that dividing line, and I think it all comes down to, well, a few things. We already know the area low pressure is rapidly intensifying. So for that reason, I think at the 700 millibar layer of the atmosphere, you're going to get frontogenesis. That's not going to set up in South Jersey. That's probably going to be setting up over southeast Pennsylvania, maybe western Chester County, Lancaster, Harrisburg. That just means that there's going to be heavier banding of snow. By the time that gets into South Jersey, I think you're going to exhaust that robust precipitation shield, and we end up with moderate snow at some point, and then it tapers off to light snow. So I don't think it's enough to get the job done. Could whiten things up for a little bit, sure. It's going to be a heavy, wet snow. It's not easy to accumulate, all right? This is where we are. We have areas of heavy rain coming in, and this is based off of our HRRR model. At 8 o'clock, near 9 o'clock, that rain snow line is now starting to crash to the south and east. Just outside of Wilmington, might get some pellets of sleet in Philadelphia, Norristown, but still dealing with rain to an extent. You get down to the coast, Atlantic City, Ocean City, Sea Isle, Stafford Township, Toms River, it's all just rain. Then it starts to crash in. This is 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock. Now that rain snow line is essentially right over my house in Sewell, Washington Township, going up to Berlin, just west of Fort Dix. The changeover is happening. Philadelphia, Norristown, Wilmington, Salem, and at this time it's probably coming down at a good clip of maybe an inch of snow an hour. That doesn't mean that an inch is actually going to accumulate, because a lot of it's going to be lost at the onset because it is so compact and wet. So something that folks don't really realize, when you look at a forecast model and it says you're going to get 3 inches of snow, I'm just being arbitrary here. That is physically what the model sees as falling out of the sky, okay? So immediately in a marginal temperature situation like this, I take that and cut it in half. That's just a general rule of thumb here. So it can be snowing heavily. This is 10:30, and look at the heavy snow, the darker blues coming through Princeton, Trenton, Bensalem, Philadelphia, West Goshen, Wallace, Norristown, Reading. And then as it gets into South Jersey, yes, there could be a period of heavy snow for a couple hours, sure. But watch the colors lighten up and we get into the lighter blue. I got news for you. This ain't going to get the job done. It's snowing like this at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on March 12th. You're not going to add a whole lot of snow to what is able to pile up, okay? And then it starts to get out of here, really light stuff. You might get some lingering moderate snow up through Monmouth County and central Jersey, but South Jersey, this is pretty much shutting off 2 or 3 o'clock with the heavier snow, that is. You might get a couple bands coming down from the north and west, then it's out of here for this evening, and any wet surface tonight is going to freeze, and that is why we are concerned about those flash freezing conditions. Now, let's look at the storm from a different perspective. The numbers you see here are the forecast ground temperatures, and right now, pretty much right on par with where our air temperatures are, right? 48 in Winslow, 48 in Atlantic City, 48 in Philadelphia, but colder out to the west in Lancaster and Hershey and York. You're going to see these numbers come way down below freezing, and that is why you're going to get optimal stickage conditions. As that transition happens and the snow pushes into South Jersey, we still have ground temperatures in the upper 30s or lower 40s. So that is why I am more confident in wet road conditions than white road conditions, especially down towards the shore. It could get a little hairy in and around Philadelphia. North on 42 and 55, those roads are brined. I really don't see there's going to be too many issues, but travel will likely be slow because don't forget the snow is going to be falling at a decent clip, so visibility is going to be reduced. And if you don't have to be out on the roads traveling and you're west of Winslow, stay home. It's going to be a great reading a book day, maybe sitting and watching Netflix all day. But a ground temperature of 36 in Trenton, 37 in Philadelphia. That's why in and around the city, I think the totals are going to be on the lower side. Now in the heart of the afternoon, As the precipitation lightens up, you might even see these ground temperatures come up a little bit in areas where the snow isn't able to stick. Even with the clouds this time of the year, with the sun angle, some of that solar radiation can actually make it all the way through to the ground and help warm it up. So I'd be much more excited about this if it was January 12th opposed to March 12th, but it is what it is. And again, you're seeing those lighter colors of snow. And you might be looking at this and saying, but Nick, it's going to snow all day. Yes, but the intensity matters here. Light snow is not going to accumulate in these conditions. You need the very heavy snow. I think that's going to happen. But I think that sets up north and west of I-95 where we are anticipating those higher totals. So let's look at our HRRR model and what it sees for snowfall totals. Okay, again, this is just a model output. This is what the model is thinking. This is 12 o'clock. 4.5 in Hershey, Lancaster 3.1, Reading over 2.5, 3 inches for Allentown. You get to the higher elevations of the Pocono Mountains, 5, 6, 7 inches of snow. Very possible. You know, you get over 1,000 feet in elevation and forget it. You know, your ratios are going to be much higher. At the surface here, we're probably looking at ratios out of this 8-to-1. Usually we're looking at like a 10-to-1 ratio. I think it's going to be lower than that. So that's why I'm bringing down the totals here. This one's to put 1/3 of an inch in Philadelphia, almost an inch in Wilmington. Again, this is at lunch. And then as that snow pushes into South Jersey, we could certainly see some light accumulations down into Winslow. It's going about 1/2 of an inch. Trenton, almost an inch. Philadelphia, 1.5 and almost 2 in Wilmington. So I look at all of this stuff and then I come up with my own forecast. You never want to just rip and read, take what a model is saying. You want to take all the factors into consideration and come up with a forecast on your own, okay? Forecast models are tools. You got to use experience and your general knowledge to come up with these things. So this has not changed since yesterday morning. I issued this at, I think, 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm staying with it. I'm happy with it. Right through Philly, southeast Pennsylvania, it's Media, it's Delaware County, Philadelphia County, Trenton, into Camden, Gloucester, Salem, western Cumberland County, most of Delaware, I have as a trace to, if this were able to get in on some of that colder air, maybe up to a couple inches. If it really overperformed and we ended up with 3 inches, I'm not going to resign. You know, I was off by a little bit. But the thing is, it's just it's not a major storm. Now, through portions of Chester County, the farther west you go, west through Montgomery County, up towards Doylestown. I just tried to combine Doylestown and Norristown. Dorristown, you know, they're relatively close to one another. But I have a light blue band here. That's for 2 to 4 inches of snow, and there could be a couple inches of snow on the ground ultimately, but you too, much of it's going to be on the grass and hard surfaces, then out towards Hershey, Lancaster, Harrisburg. That's where you're going to get in on 4 inches or more. And then in the green area, I think some very minor accumulations are possible. 90% of it's going to be on the grass, but most of this is going to be rain, flipping over to a period of snow, but really by the time it gets to you, it's probably going to be light to moderate snow, which is not going to help the cause. So again, a trace to a couple inches in this white shaded area, more to the north and west. So we are not looking at a situation where it's 4 to 8, 6 to 12 inch event. In the grand scheme of things, this is going to be a minor thing. And I am still doubtful. You know, I still have my reservations because of that storm in January. We've seen these situations play out before. It's called anafrontal snow. It's completely reliant on how quickly the cold air moves in. Clearly, it's snowing out to the west, so the cold is making advancements. So I'm less pessimistic than I was yesterday because I'm seeing it happen. But sometimes that transition is delayed, and that can have a huge impact on ultimately what we see. Potential rainfall, I think region-wide, we're looking at a 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches. We need the rain. Technically, we are now categorized in a drought, a level 1 drought. We haven't had a whole lot of precipitation this winter season. So under 1 inch for Millville, 3/4 of an inch for Avalon, about 1 inch in Stafford Township, a little over 1/2 of an inch, or just under 3/4 in Wilmington. So it's not Armageddon, folks. It's going to rain. It's going to be snowy for a little bit. It's going to be windy. and it's going to get cold. Oh, wait till you see the temperature drop, okay? So we are going to have this wind gusting out of the northwest, probably at times over 40 miles an hour, as the precipitation is falling. So rain or snow, it's going to be coming sideways. And that is not going to be pleasant to be out in, trust me. Right into the afternoon, northwest flow, it's going to be with us tonight, even after the precipitation is gone. It's going to be cold. That flash freeze is going to be happening. Any surface that is wet is going to be frozen. And I know it is hard to wrap your head around because if you open the door right now and go outside, it's in the upper 40s. It's going to be a dynamic situation because the area of low pressure is intensifying so quickly. It's undergoing a process called bombogenesis. I love that word. I just do. But I hate bomb cyclone, because I think it was just a term that was invented for the media to scare people. Really. Let's just call it what it is. Bombogenesis. That's the scientific term. Bomb cyclone sounds scary. Bombogenesis doesn't. It's a nerdy term for us to use. 48 in Hamilton, 49 in Tuckerton, 50 in Atlantic City. And here's the colder stuff. Norristown, Westchester. That is why the stickage is going to be much greater on the other side of Philadelphia. Now watch these temperatures tumble. By noon, we're hovering around freezing in Hamilton, Mays Landing, into the 20s in Norristown and Westchester. And this is also why I believe you're going to see more snow up there, because your ratios are going to be a little higher. South Jersey ratios between 8 and 9 to 1. Really not a whole lot of wiggle room there. You get down into the 20s with snow, and those ratios will be higher than 10 to 1, probably 12 to 1. So that's why you're going to see more snow. And then this afternoon and tonight, look at this, the teens. By 11 o'clock, 17 in Marlton, 12 in Doylestown, 13 in Westchester, 19 in Dover, and 21 in Cape May. So it is going to get really cold by the time we wake up. So travel impacts. Between now and 9 a.m., I mean, there's really no issue. There's rain, and you will obviously want to be safe there. Take your time. And then from 9 to 11, that's when the transition starts to happen in and around Philadelphia, pushing to the south and east. We're going to go a moderate impact on travel and then a higher impact between 11 and 3 o'clock. That's like the height of the storm. That's when everybody is snowing and your visibility is going to be reduced and the winds are going to be blowing the snow around, and it's just going to be nasty out there. So overcast with rain today. That should say Saturday. Tomorrow's looking colder. It's going to be breezy still, but the sunshine comes back. Now I'm going to give you some hope. Here's your next 6 to 10 day temperature outlook and a lot of warm weather. I'm thinking 60s, maybe even lower 70s next week, and there's really no cold air in sight. Over the next couple weeks, this goes out 8 to 14 days. More warm weather. So this is good. Once we get through today, yeah, we have a little bit of a hiccup on Monday, or Sunday rather. Monday we rebound into the 50s, then 60s. Upper 60s on Friday and Saturday, and it looks like we finally crawl out of this. So let me get back to my desk, and I want to show you guys what I'm talking about in terms of how things have changed with the forecast models over the past 6 hours. So, from overnight to where we are right now and how we got here. So let's pull this screen back up and go to our model viewer. Okay, so I'll go to the HRRR, and this is what it looked like. Heavy snow, lingering, yada, 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 into like 6 or 7 o'clock. But it had this really intense band of snow coming through I-95, even down into Camden, Gloucester, Salem County. And look, historically, when you have these transitions happening, the heaviest snow falls right around that area of transition, okay? So that made sense. Now look at the snowfall output from the model. Let me pull that up. So I went to bed with it looking like this, with 2 inches of snow in Vineland, 3 inches in Philadelphia, maybe 2 or 3 towards Buena Vista Township, 7 southeast Pennsylvania. Run after run, the model has backed off of this. And the reason I'm showing you the HRRR, because this gets updated every hour. And it has the greatest level of accuracy in a mesoscale situation. You don't get a better model within 12 hours than the HRRR, okay? So run after run, it has backed off. This was just a few hours after that, all right? Starting to back off, okay? Now, this is where we are. And, I mean, it's essentially what I just showed you. The 1-inch line is now west of Philadelphia. So this is an even farther shift west than an hour ago. So this is why I am very confident in my thinking, and I am not concerned about overperforming. Now, is it possible? Sure, anything is possible, but realistically speaking, taking in all of the variables into consideration, I am okay with where the forecast is right now. So that is where we are. Be careful traveling. Winds will be picking up, heavy rain over to snow. We're going to get everything thrown at us, maybe even the kitchen sink, because if somebody's repairing their house or remodeling and they don't tie their kitchen sink down on the back of a truck, it could fly off. Don't drive behind people like that. I'll check back a little later. I'll do a couple more short videos so we can, get the specific details out in under a couple minutes. But I mean, all in all, it's not going to be Armageddon, like I said. Rapidly intensifying area low pressure, some snow, heavy rain, high winds. Nothing we haven't seen many, many times. Just be careful out there, okay? That's the moral of the story at the end of the day. Sunshine back tomorrow, wind still with us, and then look ahead to next week. It is going to be beautiful. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Nor'easter and you can also download my Norcast weather app available in your Apple and Android store. Take care, everybody. We'll chat soon.